Today's Saturday, May 2nd. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon, 67 degrees out. Perfect day for working the bees. It is sunny, just some light clouds in the sky. This week we've seen the dandelions come up. As you can see in the background, there's a couple of them in the grass. You also see the mustard, yellow wild mustard growing throughout this field here. They spray this field every year with Roundup and put this corn in here, but every once in a while this stuff will not be denied and it grows up. You can see traces of it through the field. The objective today is to do recon on these hives. This hive is a 3-week-old package, which we're taking you through the series to see how to bring a package to fruition and get it to overwinter. These 3 hives overwintered, and we're going to go look and see where they're at from a reserve standpoint. The hope is at some point to do a split on 2 of them and let one of them go to do full honey crop on it. So let's go start with what I call hive number 4. This is our package hive. We want to see how it's doing. Fed it last week. We want to see how much is left in it, if any. I would suspect it's gone, and we'll have to fill that inboard feeder. What I'm most interested in this time is to find out how much they've built. And if you take a look at what's going on here at the entrance, they are bringing pollen in like crazy here. So very active hive. I'm going to look and see what the population is and see if I can remove this entrance reducer to give them even more ability to get in and out of the hive and get work done. So let's see where we go with this. Let me set the tripod up and we'll get into inspecting this hive. A little smoke at the entrance. I'll put a little puff of smoke under the top cover. I hear that familiar buzz. A lot of pollen going in at the front entrance. Let's go take a look. Tilt the top cover away from me. No queen on the inner cover or the outer cover. Just a handful of bees. I see a number of bees looking at me through the little hole here, so I'm just going to give them a little puff of smoke. Checking to make sure the queen for some reason isn't up on the inner cover. She's not. And the interesting thing for me as I look at it is I could tell that the cluster is over here between 7, 6, 5, and 4. And I also see a lot of bees down into the feeder with a little bit of sugar water left. So they're still taking that. All I want to do is pull this frame right here and see how far they've gotten. I know the brood nest is on this frame, and this frame. I want to know if it's getting over here, if they have storage. If they're starting to get crowded here, I will put another box on top. That's what I'm interested to find out in this objective. So with this feeder in here, I know this box is really packed in tight. And I put this package on drawn comb. So you have to keep an eye on them because when they have drawn comb, they can advance pretty quickly. With the feeder in here, this box is pretty tight. I'm just taking my time not to bang around in here. I hear the buzz of the bees since they were smoked. This frame is relatively empty. It's got pollen stored in it and nectar. Just a small amount of bees on it. I'm going to go get the next frame. I got pollen stored in here. Not a lot. No brood. I've got nectar stored in this frame. Look to see real quick if the queen's on here. I do not see her. So the fact that I have nectar on this side and a little bit of pollen makes me believe that this is the outer edge of the brood nest, and they haven't quite worked their way. And the other evidence to that is there's hardly anything on this frame. I do see some pollen. It looks relatively fresh stored in here. So the brood chamber is not expanded over yet. That's as far as I'm going to go. I don't need to look any further and interrupt them. I would expect next week that they'll be moving into this area. One of the reasons that I've kept this box relatively compact and not put anything on it, what would the harm be if I put another box on top of it with drawn comb? Probably nothing. They would move up and use it for storage and be okay with it, but it's still been cold at nights. Now this week should break that low of 50, but there's been low of 30, high 30s, medium to low 40s, so keeping them in one box helps them maintain their warmth and is probably more productive for them at this time. Going into the next couple weeks, we're going to have highs of 70s, maybe even 80s, and they could probably tolerate more space, and it would be an incentive for them. So I'll make a decision tomorrow whether or not I'm going to put another box on here, but for right now they have not built out much further. They're just making sure that they occupy in these 4 frames their brood nest. I'm going to close them up for now and let them be. Interestingly enough, you see these bees here at the entrance, they're fanning. And they're scenting, and these bees are coming up to them. I'm actually just going to put them right back up on top. All done with our package hive. There's one other thing I want to do with this hive, which is put a rock underneath the top entrance to aid in ventilation. This hive never got set up for that, so I'm just going to set it right here on top of the inner cover. It's going to lift the outer cover up and give a little bit of airflow out the front of the hive. Always ventilate from the front, never from the back.